Welcome back everyone, it's Robert Macfarlane here, and today we're going to be going through Bumblebee and how the Transformers franchise has been reinvented. So, New Year is coming up. New leaf, new you. What happens when a movie turns over a new leaf? A couple of years back, Transformers got Spider-Man. It got reinvented through the next film in the franchise, which was called Bumblebee. Before that, we had the fourth, or was it maybe fifth, Transformers movie in the Michael Bay era, we're going to call it, of Transformers, which was Transformers: The Last Knight. Now, many of you may have seen that film, or at least had heard about the film, and for many reasons, some of those were probably not good reasons. In the run-up to making this episode, I did rewatch Transformers: The Last Knight just for you guys, along with Bumblebee. That's 2 hours I'm not going to get back. What did this reinventing the franchise really mean? So let's just on the face of it look at what the two movies brought in. The Last Knight brought in $605 million US, which is a considerable sum of money, not massive compared to the previous Transformers movies, whereas Bumblebee only brought in $468 million. Nothing to sniff at, but quite a bit less than probably their expectations for a Transformers movie, the big summer blockbuster. Now what's interesting here is on Rotten Tomatoes and various other sites, well, Rotten Tomatoes specifically gave The Last Knight just a 15% rating out of 100. Now for those of you who don't know, a lower number means bad, whereas Bumblebee got a 91% score on Rotten Tomatoes. Well. Now, admittedly, some of you may go, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't know what they're talking about. The quality of the film in the reviews seems to be pretty much mirrored everywhere you go. Now that's not necessarily to say that both films can't be enjoyed in some way, but some films are just more complete journeys, and I would agree that Bumblebee was a better movie, but it didn't translate to more of a box office. However, please do take into consideration that The Last Knight's budget was over $220 million, whereas Bumblebee was just $120 million. So overall, both movies made roughly the same money. So what did they do different? Now, a few people probably have wrongly stated that Bumblebee didn't have enough bayhem in it. For those of you who don't know what bayhem means, it is the descriptive term for Michael Bay's directing style whenever you see lots of explosions or mayhem on screen. Bumblebee has plenty of explosions and action throughout the film, but what it does have that The Last Knight doesn't is characters.
I told you to hide in the garage!
Let's take a look at the first 20 minutes of both movies in a very mathematical way and see when they do things and how well they do things. First, when do we meet the protagonist of the film?
Where's B-127?
We meet Bumblebee at the 1 minute and 20 second mark in the movie. Right in the midst of a big battle, so we are right in there in the action with the character, with him from the get-go. Now, with The Last Knight.
Hello?
The Last Knight kind of starts off in medieval times, and we meet Merlin, who we never see again. We meet King Arthur, who we see in a flashback, but for no real reason again later. Then we also meet some children who end up almost getting blown up, never to see them again either. Then we meet a sub-character who ends up not having really that much to do in the film at all. At the 10-minute mark, 10 minutes, we meet someone who we're going to be following a little bit of, but we don't really get to know them much. And finally, at 14 minutes and 5 seconds, we meet the lead character, which will be the last night. So imagine you've just taken essentially 10% of your entire film before you've even allowed your audience to see your lead character. So the previous 14 minutes were essentially a massive dump of exposition, which is just not really that fun for us to watch, even if you write in witty dialogue.
I'd give up drink, money, win, drink and money.
He's interesting. In fact, I probably would have enjoyed a movie that we just followed him and his adventures with Transformers. That probably would have been pretty cool. I mean, basically Merlin wielding a dragon transformer. Now we're going to talk about human connection. Well, we're going to talk about connection anyway. We are dealing with robots. So, just how many times do the stories allow the characters to interact in a deep and meaningful way?
You cannot stay here, kid. I got enough strays. You just go home, please. Why are you still following me? You gotta go. You can't stay here.
I'm going to switch over to Bumblebee now and see how Bumblebee created its connection between its characters. We now spend the next 26 minutes getting to know this girl. This really puts this teenage girl and her current situation in her life into our focus. Do you see how immediately, at the beginning of the film, we take the time to get to know the character's main problem, the thing that they are going to have to overcome by the end of the film. Whereas in The Last Night,
What's your problem? No!
I don't really know what the problem was for anyone. Well, I mean, apart from the planet was going to blow up. But in Bumblebee, we get a far more relatable problem. The loss of a parent.
Future Olympic gold medalist? Amazing.
No, why would you play this?
This in itself is something which just humanizes the entire movie to such a greater extent than any part of The Last Night did. So The Last Night, at 35 minutes and 20 seconds, decides to now get us to have the two characters get to know each other. They take exactly...
Oh, wife passed away, daughter's at college. She might as well be on the moon.
Decepticon fired a rocket. Parents were home, I wasn't.
30 seconds is all the time they need to get to know each other. Let's see how long Bumblebee gives these characters to actually get to know each other for the first time. Four minutes! That is exactly 8 times longer. Let's not forget that Bumblebee is also almost 40 minutes shorter than The Last Night. The amount of time that we give our characters to get to know each other really makes a massive difference to their connection, how much we care about their connection. By the end of Transformers The Last Night, I barely even remembered that little girl was there. In fact, did she even survive? Yeah, that's for another movie. I think this is at the root of why Bumblebee got such good reviews and scores for the film compared to The Last Night. Bumblebee truly connects with us, truly endears us to the characters, and we believe their connection. We believe that she cares for this robot. We believe the robot cares for her. So it'll be really interesting to see when, and they will, bring out the next Transformers movie to see what they really want to do with the franchise and how they want to grow it in the hearts and minds of the audience. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. If you found today's information useful, check out the links below for some more information on how you can up your game on your next film.